I always geek out over film equipment. It's a great time. This is a no judgment zone. This is a safe place to learn, but also just kind of get into exactly what a film pitch is. And the biggest thing about your film pitch is focusing on your story. That is the best thing to get apart, because there's so many technical aspects of a film pitch, but getting your story across is the most important part. And if you want to learn more about film pitches and how that goes, you can scan the QR code here. This gives you more info on Cinema Life, but also we have a pitcher's best practice. So that shows you like step-by-step things to include in your pitch deck, how to go through your pitch. We also have a pitch deck template, which is really helpful. And then also we have upcoming events. Atlanta Women's Film Festival is our next upcoming event on October 8th. So definitely get your tickets for that before we run out. And I'm going to go ahead and have our, we have Cinema Life Projects is something that we also started. So we see so many different film pitches and we interact with so many filmmakers, and we love working with them so much that we decided to actually work with filmmakers on their projects as well. And our first project that we're working on, and I'll have the filmmakers come up to give us a nice rundown of it and their fundraising status. And that film is Pa. Come on up here, y'all.
Hey, thank you, Caroline. Hi, I'm Zach Burkett. I am the director and writer of PA. Some of you may have seen my pitch. I pitched PA at the beginning of this year, back in February. This is my producer, Kevin Saunders.
Hello, I'm Kevin Saunders. I'm his producer.
So I pitched PA back in February. Now it's happening. We're actually filming it, we're producing it. We're set to shoot next month. Caroline has been helping us to produce and market it. There's a crowdfunding for it right now. We have raised $23,000 since. Thank you. It's a lot. It's been a process. Since the beginning of the month, we launched. It actually ends October 1st, so we have 3 days left in the campaign. Our goal is $32,000. We are 72% of the way there, so we are so close. We have 3 days to make our goal, and I know we're going to do it. So Pa, if you weren't there for my pitch, or you haven't heard it, it's a story of a 75-year-old retired veteran whose wife passes away, so he decides to follow his long-lost childhood dream of making movies, and becomes a PA on a film set. And of course, Pa is also PEA. And it's a heartwarming, fish out of water comedy. It examines how we view the elderly and explores the challenges of working in the film industry. And the message of the film is that it's never too late to follow your dreams. So so very passionate about the story. We have an awesome team. We have Kevin. We also have Andrea, Jordan, Henry, all of whom are part of our team. Karen, obviously, we have a lot of people working on this to bring the story to life. I'm very excited. Any way you could, help support, help us cross the finish line to reach our goal, we would really appreciate it. I'm gonna let Kevin say anything if you want to say something.
So one thing I also want to just note that this is a proof of concept for a feature. So obviously, as we all know here, the films are not cheap. So this is one of the ways that we were able to band together. I actually just shot my short film earlier this year as well too. We had a successful crowdfund campaign. There's definitely ways to do it, and you can definitely make it happen. Especially, we are definitely on the other side of things now, where WGA is now signing their contracts. Hopefully, SAG will also sign their contracts too. But if there's any lesson in this time right now, is create your own content. Don't wait for anybody else to do it for you. I'm an actor, of course, before anything else, and you got to create your own stuff sometimes. So, with that being said, we want to definitely make sure that we are letting as many people know as possible. Anything helps. Even if it's $5, $2, whatever it is, it definitely helps. And hopefully it's inspiration to other people as well too. As a pitch that we have done here to you all as well too. Anything that you're pitching today, to know that you can bring this to life. It might take time, it might take a lot of hard work, but it's definitely doable. We are actually hoping to get some names on this as well too. We unfortunately did not get Anthony Hopkins.
We tried.
We tried.
We actually did try.
Yeah, we tried to get Anthony Hopkins. Jeffrey DeMond was in the running as well too, but unfortunately he was busy. But we have another gentleman that is we're waiting for the paperwork to get back. So Jordan has been working very hard to help us get to that point. So yeah, but thank you all so much for taking time to listen to us and anything else?
Thank you all. I hope you're excited because we definitely are.
Yeah.
And we're going to put a lot, we're going to put a lot into this. So yeah, just stay tuned because it's in the works and it's going to be great.
And thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So excited. It's a fantastic project. Right when I saw the pitch for the first time, even before they pitched it made me emotional. It's such an important story and just really great thing to be talking about right now. I mean, the elderly they're living, people are living longer and longer. So it's something that we're all going to have to deal with at some point in our lives. And so I feel like us treating the elderly like they're not invisible is a really great thing that we need to be spreading around. And this story is just absolutely stunning. It's really beautiful. And for more information on their crowdfunding efforts, you can follow the QR code as well. There's a link to submit contribute, even if it's just $5. Like that helps so much. Definitely help us. And at this point, I would love to have our panelists introduce themselves. Yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Marty Pinkham. I've worked in film for forever, it feels like. I worked on things like The Conjuring 3 and Annabelle. I was an assistant to James Wan. I worked on things with Ron Howard. I do my own things as well. I direct, I write, I produce. And I also champion for people with special needs and disabilities, and that's what I'm really known for. I did a film called The Adventures of Wonder Boy, and I've used that. That's gone all over the world to be able to prove that inclusion is possible. That's very dear to my heart. But for you guys, for the important thing is that I have been in so many meetings, I've been in so many pitches, and so many. I've just been boots on the ground. So I know what people are looking for. I know what they're wanting. I know what the vibe is. So I'm here to help you get as ready as humanly possible. With my whole goal is to literally help prepare you, because there's so many people out there who are more competitive than they are helpful. And I'm just an altruistic person. So that's pretty much it. So I'm Marty. And before you even get up here, I just want to say, everybody who pitches, thank you. Because number one, you are ahead of at least 75% of the people who out there who say they've got a great story. Okay, because you are being so brave and courageous to come up here and perfect this before you take it to the next level. So if you get a note that you don't really like, please just take it, let it wash over you for a second, and see how that can incorporate into what you're working on, because we're here to help you, and that's my goal. I just want to help you make it more as possible. That's it. That's me.
So my name is Alpha Tyler. I'm a casting director and also a professor of acting at Savannah College of Art and Design. I've been in casting and television and film for, I think I'm around 27 to 8 years, something like that. I started out as an intern on Titanic in the casting office, and also on a television series called Martin Lawrence, being an assistant on there. I've worked at Warner Brothers, DreamWorks. I was a casting director at California Studios, worked with Spike Lee, and I really love actors and being able to get feedback. I love holding auditions, and so once the wonderful actors get back to work with the right type of contact, then I look forward to actually casting the project.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Michael McCoy, the executive producer. I'm studio developer here in Atlanta. We are very close to that now. My job, or my goal is to help you with the business side of the show business. You got the show, I got the business. I want to show you how to do that and do it better. The other part of what I do now is I'm picking up film projects. So So there's some of you who are in here I've been working with in the past, and we're looking for many more projects. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking for features, documentaries, I'm looking for a whole list of different types of projects. I'm going to develop, executive produce. I'm not an actor, I don't act. I'm not a director, I don't direct, but I have a team of people who do that. So my team will then take on that project. But my goal here tonight is to talk to you after you do your pitch, give you some insight on how to pitch for investors, how to pitch for resources, capital. Because there's a series of things that you need to do before you would even come to the table to talk about that. The other thing is you got to know who you're going to talk to. Where's you going?
The Wild Ones?
No, I thought you were going to tell them.
ZCC.
That's Daniel Lynch. You're going to hear from him. You're going to hear from him. I'm telling you that. Just be patient. He's got some stuff. So that's what I want to do tonight. So Alpha, who's in casting, and Marty, who does a lot of it all. I'm the money guy, so I look at it from a different perspective. Not that I won't look at the other contents or the other pieces of what you're pitching at, because I will. Because all of those things factor in for what I see as ROI. That's all I pretty much understand. ROI. So my name really is Michael ROI McCoy. That's it. So have fun. Take it, in stride. We all here to help you. But have fun with it, because this is the fun part. The ugly part is when you got to sit down and start talking contracts. That's the ugly part. But have fun, do your best, don't be shy about it, and let's go. All right? If you had too many beers before you go up, let us know that, so we can get that in consideration. All right? Have fun, everybody.
Thank you so much. And then just some housekeeping things. Let's give a shout out to Wild Heaven for having us here. Wild Heaven is very supportive of the arts and the film industry. If you're ever looking for a location to film or a place to hold an event, this is a fantastic spot. Also, please make sure you're ordering your beer back here, so that way our lovely gal back here can get paid for it. Yes, go ahead.
Since she's talking about location, on October 24th, straight down this path here, a building called Plywood, which is the next building over, a plywood place. We're having an open house so that you can see the inside of that space to shoot in, to whatever projects you have in there. There's also a podcast room in there. But straight down here, so on the 24th, it's an open house, it's a free event. You come in, and at the top and the bottom of every hour, I'm going to do a quick presentation to show you how to use that space and other spaces for your projects. How to do it at a reasonable cost. Caroline and I are going to work with the Plywood on that to put something together so that when you come through Caroline. Caroline will work a deal for you better than you could work a deal for you. Molly? So she and I will be working on that, but that's October 24th. So October 24th between 2 and 5. If you have time, come on through, take a look around. It'll be a great event for you to see how some things can work in your favor at a lower cost. Got it? Cool.
Thank you. Great, we're so excited, and so on that note, we'll go ahead and get started with our first pitch, and that is me pitching The Therapist.
Hello, family. Well, hello, family. Okay. Now, I'll start by saying this is Therapist, and one of the main characters are actually trying not to take too much information, but one of them is myself, and this is my ex-boyfriend, so I think this is what the story about. Now, we can go ahead and go to the next slide. Now, this is pretty much like a movie that talks about mental health in all aspects. In the Black community, we're taught pretty much from age 35 and up. Yeah, all you need is God, and whatnot. Even though that is true, we also need therapists and God therapists. So, we go ahead and go through it. Now, he's a narcissistic person who's failed attempt to put his past behind him that starts to follow him. He catches his wife cheating on him without wanting to be in their home. So that makes it worse. So he starts to take it out on his patients. he is also an accomplishment, so he thinks he is just the best thing that's going there. And on the outside, it looks that way. His wife, on the other hand, his family life is not as perfect as he thinks it is, or as much as he also has, once he cheats, once he catches her cheating, he kind of blacks out and thinks he killed everyone he met. Once he leaves out of that room, he goes ahead and goes to another city thinking that, oh God, let me just go ahead and wipe the slate clean, I'm gonna start over fresh. Goes to another state, he starts to practice, new life, everything, and ends up meeting what we call now his ace in another woman named Leah. He also has right now a new practice, and he has 5 patients. 2, they're a couple, they own a restaurant, and they are not happy with each other over cheating. He has one who has a court-appointed therapy because he ends up killing somebody as a drunk driver. Another one is pretty much a therapist nightmare. She thinks she doesn't need therapy as well, but she goes faithfully every week and talks to her. And also, the last one would be, she has 3 kids. She's a single mother of 3 kids. And she goes and she's getting the benefits of him, but out of the 5 characters, she's the only one that survives. He gives her that. Now, also, in the building that he works in, there's the owner of the building. She's also there. She works as a doctor, and she's kind of a talkative person, and he's trying to get away from it. He's trying to stay to himself so it doesn't draw too much attention. He ends up trying to kill her because she notices one day that he's not who he's supposed to be. In the end, he also ends up killing Leah, but as an accident. So he ends up having to leave that state as well. But she catches him in the act and tries to get away. I'm sorry, Dr. Taylor catches him in the act and tries to get away. Once she kind of gets away, he follows her behind and he cuts
tweet every day, I could also get on board with that. But, and nobody heard that. Good job.
Okay, so I know that there was a lot happening between Caroline introducing you and you coming up, and I didn't even catch your name. Okay, Lay?
And she helped me, but I'll take that because most people talk to me, but it's like, sorry, it's like.
Okay. Okay, but you, a name is very important. My name is Alpha, and I don't want anyone to mispronounce it. I want people to know what it is. It means the beginning. I have a whole story. My point is, you should have introduced yourself because immediately you felt small, and I immediately lost interest because you didn't really command the space the way that I would have liked to have seen. Now, as a casting director, those are just things that I end up picking up on. So this is a feature film, yes? Okay. So I would like to have a bit more of an introduction as to what we were going to be presenting. This is a feature film, this is a series, this is a romantic comedy, this is a documentary. So to explain, get us prepared, what we're about to see. Because the thing is, you know what it is, but these are our brand new ears hearing it, and sometimes, you know, there's music playing, there's other things going on, we might miss a little bit of that. So to have your presence introduce what it is that you are going to pitch to us, and then you got our attention. You talk about mental health. I would maybe consider having some statistics about mental health in the Black community. Yeah, absolutely. So think of your pitch as the only opportunity to tell an investor about your project. And you want to lay all those things out. Now, you may not go into extreme detail, but you want to give us some elements of that so that we understand. And then we're drawn in by those numbers, because then if they're really terrible, then it's, oh, okay, then how are we gonna fix that? Maybe we're gonna see it in this process. Instead of the large paragraphs, maybe just have some bullet points with what your story is about. A few bullet points, because in a 5-minute pitch, we're listening to you, and what we would want to see, would be just some, I would say just a reiteration of just a few points that you've already said. So that way we're not trying to read and listen to what it is that you're saying at the same time. So it should mirror, but just in smaller detail, so that way we can see it and not be overwhelmed with trying to read all of it. You went really deep into the story details. And so I think there's a fine line between telling us what the story is about and giving us the nitty-gritty details about this, you did this, and you did that. I think if you stick with bullet points, it'll help it be a bit more concise. And while we do want to know some statistics, and then you give us a few points, break it down by character. You know, that the screen that finally had who the characters were, that was almost, it was in your pitch, but it was almost an afterthought once that image came up. So if you have that as a part of your pitch, then just have brief bullet points about who those people are and how they relate to each other, instead of going as deep into the story of sure. That's okay. That's okay. I would like to know what you feel is really unique about your story. With love.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a true story, because it's definitely not a true story, but the fact that people
want to use the correct terminology when you're describing your cast, because then you know it feels like a lot, but it's okay. Then they will know that you know what you're talking about. So I sometimes cringe when I hear the term lead characters or main, more like main characters, because they are considered, they're called leads. So you want to make sure you give them the right title. Let's see, so we talked about that. You mentioned that Dexter has been through a lot, and again, I wasn't really convinced as to what it is that he's gone through that's a lot. So it wasn't very specific. Now, Stepfather is actually one of my favorite films. I love that film because I thought it was, yeah, there's a whole lot there. So if you're telling me that that's one of your inspirations, then I'm really going to be expecting a lot more out of it because I'm great for that. That's okay. And then the last thing I'll say is I would like to feel more of your passion with this. And again, I think in the introduction, it's in starting out and letting us know that this is based on semi-true events that may or may not have happened. And then, then we'd be drawn in. But thank you for getting up because, look, you have to try. And so this is just feedback. And, as Marty said, you take what you can and then you go and meditate on it or whatever you do and then see what works for you and then move forward. Yeah, thank you.
I'm not gonna get over the question. I would like to do something. Caroline, if you go to her second slide for me, and I'm gonna come up and show you. And this is for everyone. This one, either one, actually, that's it. So now, what I want to show you is that with your picture, you're trying to convince, you're trying to take them on a ride. So your positioning here is critical. So here, if I'm looking here because I have to read the screen, you're not connected with all those spaces. So, but if you turn at an angle here, and you connect with the spaces, and tell us what's story. Starting out, we didn't know anything. So when you first come into this space, let me get you, connect with you. Okay? What's your name? Then you start to the story. But the problem is when you're doing pitches, and you have so much on the screen, you lose track of what you're trying to say because it's like, well, the fact that so many of us battle with it, you're scattering through that. The trick is, like I said, bullet points. And when you do your bullet point slide for your presentation, what's going to happen is before you actually come here and do it, you should be able to walk through that story with your bullet points only. Then when you come here, put those bullet points out. Shoot those bullet points all over the place, right? And then if there's any questions later, then that gives us another chance to connect back with you. Now, how do you spell it? See, so we just found out, man, see my point? But here's the thing. You did fine, but too much information makes you look confused. Limit the amount of information here. Let your bullet points tell me a story or take me on a journey. So at the very end, when we get to the last slide, then you can talk to me about finances, about money. This is production costs. This is how much we're going to do with this, that, and the other thing. And then, Mr. McCoy, just so you know, we're looking for X amount of dollars to do this, that, and the other thing with. And you can even put, you don't need to put a full budget on the screen, but you can put a pie chart with production costs, marketing and promotion costs, craft services as the third part of that pie chart. Whatever you want to do. My point is, limit what you put on the screen so you don't have to figure out what do I say. It's already there. Take us on that quick journey, 5 minutes. Boom, you're good. You can do it in less than 5. So that's all I'm going to say. There's more than one more point I want to make. Quickly. All right. Tell us the story. That's how we do it. Give us the story. Who's the antagonist? Who's the protagonist? Help us to understand what are you trying to say with this story. Take us from start to finish with those bullet points. And then when you get to your character parables, that's good. But so that we can get a feel of what journey you're trying to take. See, like there, that's the other thing. And me, I'm gonna say, I can't do it for you, because I gotta do it like this.
We need to know that needs to be there.
Yeah.
Creators, content creators, yeah, absolutely.
But give us.
What's this correct spelling of your name? Okay. You have your own name
Hey, it happens. But, so these are some good things to consider when you're doing your pitch. Here's one last point. Go to Caroline's website and really follow that template. It's there 4 weeks. And I think you'll do much better and you'll feel better about what you're presenting. Well, that